Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is going to be brief, inshallah. As you see, it's about what makes a messenger of Allah. And also, we're going to be talking about the Quran versus the fallible hadith books. And, excuse me, are they wahi, they revelation. And I mean, this is going to be, it's a talk I had with somebody else. They disagreed, you know, says deviant talk, et cetera, et cetera. One, third. And I'm gonna also be coming up with another talk on what is the Quran's definition of what a scholar is, al-ulama. And I'll bring my proofs because we have a problem here. The problem we have here is we're led in these little concepts and boxes, and they slap the name Sunnah on it. When they slap the name Sunnah on it, it's like all of a sudden people's minds become, where they can't think, because they're afraid of, thinking. And see, here's the thing. Before we get actually to the topic, so I'm gonna. This is just a little prelude, a little conversation. It's just a little talk, me sharing my thoughts. I will be doing a an actual talk on it and bring proofs and stuff like that. But first, before I get into this, I'd like to say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your families. Um, don't get too hyped up about the coronavirus. I mean, just do basically what, do. Be clean, you know, be clean, and drink lots of water, hand sanitize yourself, keep yourself, you know, clean and stuff. But don't be all extra panicky, you know, because believe there's something in the midst. So I just wanted to briefly just say that before, I get into this topic. Here's the thoughts. So, make sure, you look after your family. Before I get into the topic, I'm saying it again. Make sure you look out for your family. Be clean. May Allah bless you and your families. But don't be too panicky about no coronavirus. Don't be all panicky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got you. So that's just I wanted to say it before I get into the topic. Okay, so this is the prelude. You know what? When I said I want my people free, when I said that I was about liberation of my people, I do mean them building and us becoming independent and stuff like that. I still hold that view. But there's something else we got to get independent of too, and some are not going to get independent of it. How we coming to this Islam and the concepts that we have about what Islam is. See, we've been taught, and I'm not going to sit and just tell you what it is. I'm going to walk you through and have you think for yourself. And we're going to not look at, but this is just the talk now. But I'm actually going to do an actual video where I bring proofs. So let's get into these concepts, because here's what I hate. I've learned over my course of years. I've been a Muslim since 1997. Took my Shahada in 1997. And I've been through different sects, different schools of thoughts. I'll just put it out here. When I first came into the deen, I was Salafi. I came through this As-Salafiyah. Then, after that, I was about Salafi for about 4 years. I became a Hanafi. And I was a Hanafi for about 4 years. After that, I did the little here and there, Sufi Tariqa, Of course, when you're Hanafi, you do the Sufiya. And then after that, I became Shia. And, I was able, to compare the different schools and different knowledges and different stuff like that. Because here's the thing. Here's the trap that people get you in. You got to become a scholar. You see, in order for you to speak on this and know that, you got to be a scholar. But let me explain something to you. See, every tree has roots. And every building has a foundation. And when you know the foundation of a thing, you know its beginning. You know its essence. Upward is it just branches out and becomes more complex. But its root is its simplicity. Okay? It's its essence. So I don't have to know all the complexities to know your root, to know your essence. No, I don't. The branches and the complexities just makes you become more further into, things, so they say. So let's get to the real deep down truth of the matter. You see, and I'm going to show you proof in another video, but I'm just going to drop it on you real quick. I'm going to drop this to you. They've changed terminologies. See, when the revelation of the Quran came down, the Quran has its own definitions of things. I'll give you an example. In the Hadith book, it mentions the Salat position, Jalsa. Jalsa, sitting. In the Quran, it don't say Jalsa. It says Quda'ah. Why is that a problem? If Allah wanted to say Jalsa, He would have said Jalsa. If Allah says Quda'ah, the one who is Al-Alim, all-knowing, says something, who are you to change the definition? Do you know why people change definitions? They change definitions because you can slip other things in when you change the definition of something other than what Allah said. Okay? We're not going to get onto the Salat issue, but I'm just going to put this by you real quick. Understand something. That if you have to ask, if I say the word Salat to you, right? And you say a Hadith book comes into your head, but the book that was revealed to the Prophet does not come in your head, something wrong. Okay? If you don't know what Salat is according to the Quran first, something's wrong. And here's the reason why. Because they slapped the title Sunnah on the book of Hadith, you saying Sunnah the Prophet. But the fact of the matter is, these Hadith books are not Wahi. They did not come, Allah did not send the angel Jibril with books. When it says inside the Quran, belief in Allah, belief in the angels, belief in the books. Those are not the books. Okay? SubhanAllah. Those are not the books. I know how they explain it. Here's how they explain it. So you don't know that I'm not ignorant. They say that the prophet would speak, people would record it down, and then narrators came and they passed it down through a chain until you got it today. So I'm not ignorant of how they explain it to you. The problem is what we're not understanding is that's what they telling us. But here's the fact of the matter. Each one of them narrators are not prophets. Your deen is based on prophets. Your deen is based on the malaika, angels coming to the prophets, bringing wahi, revelation. Those are the books. It has to come through an angel, or it has to come directly from Allah directly to the prophet. And then that is the book that you take. But if somebody else over here who may be following the prophet writes something down about what that prophet said, and then they pass it down, and then some other people get it, if that's supposed to really happen like that That's still not wahi. That's somebody else talking about the prophet. Let me ask you something. I love the Ahlul Bayt, and I love the you know the Ansar Muhajirun. But the Ansar Muhajirun, or not even them, the people who came later who tell you stuff, they're not prophets. They weren't sent to you to give you the message. Okay? They're people that recorded things about what other people said, and then other people try to verify something. But that's not wahi. That's not revelation. When Bukhari was writing his book from the Sunni sect, or when Khulaini was writing his book from the Shia sect, did an angel Jibreel come to him and give him wahi and information to say, hey, this one is right, that one is wrong? No. No. So I'm going to ask you about, we're going to go to the topic of a messenger. What makes a messenger? Now, before I do this, I'm not saying to you, don't do salat. I'm not saying to you, don't do zakat. All the things that you do, keep praying to Allah, but you're going to have to change some stuff. Okay? Because here's a sign. I know so many people that came into Islam. At first, they were so zealous. They had that spirituality. And you know what? Within 4 years, something happened in their heart. That spirituality that they felt is gone. And they just go astray. They just do the modes. They just do the rituals. For years, doing rituals. But the soul, the spirit, the essence, gone. And you know why? It took me years and years to understand. You know, I've cried in Salat. I've asked lots of questions. Did lots of du'as. And then now, just now in the last month, it dawned on me. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. It's beautiful. And I've been sort of like fighting it, a little bit, because I've been a little, in fear and scared. Like, okay, if I go this route, if I leave hadith books alone as far as wahi, I'm talking about considering them revelation, like wahi, like taking them like that. If I just look at them as history books, which is what they are, well, how am I going to practice my deen? And you know what? That right there in itself was a sign to me. I said, hold on. I said, we say this Quran is the perfect book. Then why is my salats, why is it not based in here? How come I don't know, every time I think of a salat, I'm thinking about in this book right here, in this book right here, this not by no prophets. This not by no prophet. This is by people who were men like, they might have had knowledge, but men like me and you, who were not under wahi, not under revelation. And they don't have no angel, and they don't have no proof to verify that. But we take it as wahi. We take it as revelation from Allah. If you say something bad about these hadith books, if you say something bad about these hadith books, if you say something bad about these hadith books without a scholar, a man who does not have wahi himself either, if you say something about these things, guess what? You feel like you went against your deen. Subhanallah. I did not come into this deen to be led astray. I did not come into this deen to follow men, followable men who are not under wahi. I came to this deen. I left all the other stuff so that I will be under wahi, revelation from Allah. And the Quran guarantees me it's perfect. But we place our trust in hadith books, followable books by followable narrators who are not under wahi, just like we supposed to place our trust inside the Quran. And you know what? They got a lot of us not really trusting the Quran in certain ways. We don't really. You read something and you're iffy. You're like, yeah, it's true, but I got to go over here and see if you don't believe Allah's al-Hadi. You don't believe Allah's the guide. You don't trust in Allah like that. You go to that man over there who's followable, who don't get wahi, and you go and you ask him questions. And when he give you the answer, you say, Khalas, that's it. Alhamdulillah. He's a scholar. He knows. Subhanallah, they have made their priests and their anchorites and their scholars as lords with Allah. I don't care what a scholar say on this, because you know what? I took some things that I say to you to a couple of them. You know that? I said al-ulama in the Quran. It says, that they reflect on the nature of Allah. They have yaksha. They have fear. They have hope in Allah. And those are the ones who know. But the definite article is al-ulama. I said, is this the definition? They say, yes. I said, so how? I don't understand. I thought the ulama were those who goes to the schools and get the ijazah. And he says, this is like really like faqih. So then I said faqih. So I go look up faqih in the Quran. It says one who understands the deen. Go look up the deen. It means judgment. Maliki Yawmuddin, right? Judgment. Okay. Most of the judgments actually are in the Quran. Right? Fast. That's a judgment. Do zakat. That's a judgment. Help the orphan. That's a judgment. Right? Be kind to your neighbors. That's a judgment. That's deen. Okay? That is signified as deen. One who has knowledge of that, one who knows all those different things, knows their deen. Why? Because you got to remember one thing. The Quran was revealed over a course of what they say, 23, 25 years. The companions of the Prophet, the Prophet Muhammad's family, did not have the full Quran at first. It was given to them ayat by ayat. Us, we have the whole book, so we have the whole deen. At the end of the Prophet's life, they had the whole deen. Not at first, though. So all them ayats you see, like obey Allah, obey the messenger, that's when they didn't even have the whole Quran yet. Other revelations had to come later on to the Prophet to give to them. That's why they had to listen to the messenger. So I'm gonna go ahead, not explain it to you. I want to walk you through and you view yourself according to your knowledge. Let me ask you something. Before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm gonna say it like that because that's how we understand. We're gonna get to the taslim, what that means, but not today. Ain't nothing wrong with saying peace to about the brother, and the prophets and stuff like that. But we're not gonna get into that yet. You'll see one day, right? Step by step, like the Quran mapped out, right? Stage by stage. So we're gonna stick with this one. Okay. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before he is the messenger of Allah, what was he? He was Muhammad ibn Abdullah, a man like you and me who was kind and who was trustworthy. I want you guys to tell me, am I lying or am I wrong? That's what we're taught. He was a trustworthy person. He was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He was not the messenger of Allah. He was not the prophet. Okay? Now, what happened that made him a messenger of Allah? He received, now how the reports go, the angel Jibrail came to him and gave him what? Listen closely. Gave him what? They say, the angel said, Iqra. Iqra bismillah rabbika, kalaka wal insan. Right? Proclaim, read. Right? In the name of your Lord and cherisher who created man out of a leech-like clot or drop of blood. Some people translate it, right? This is what made him a messenger, was the book, was the message given to him. This is what anointed him to become called Rasulullah. You see? So Muhammad ibn Abdullah by himself is just Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Until Allah sends the Jibrail with the message, Iqra. Read what? The recital. Okay? So the Quran. That's what anointed, that is what, when he received that message, that Rasalah, that is what made him a messenger of Allah. And that is what he had to give to the people. When he gave that to the people, they are to listen and they are to obey it. They are listening and obeying the message that their messenger is giving them. They're not listening to Muhammad's own words. They're listening to the messenger of Allah. It's the title, the messenger of Allah. Yes, his name happens to be Muhammad, but the importance is attached to messenger of Allah. Now, the Quran came over a course of years. We shall surely, Allah tells them inside the Quran very clearly. And us. So we revealed this Quran in stages so that it may strengthen their heart, may make them strong. Right? That happened 25 years, ayat by ayat, here a little, there a little. Yes, they had to listen to the messenger of Allah because they were waiting for the revelations to descend and come down. And I'm going to bring proofs right now. I'm not really typing nothing or, nothing like that. I'm just throwing them out there. There's another ayat that says, when they come to you, O Muhammad, and I'll get all these ayats. Don't worry. This is just the prelude. When the Quran is being revealed, if they ask a question, then Allah will make it clear to them. See? So, the point of this is this. If they ask the question, then Allah will reveal something so that the Prophet will give them what Allah is saying. Again, that's his duty as the messenger of Allah. Right? Now, when that Quran was completed, when the revelation was done coming, that was it. Khalas. Okay? No more messages from Allah through Muhammad to us. He's not receiving messages no more. The mission is over with. And there's different versions of the Pharaoh pilgrimage, the Pharaoh speech. Some say Quran and Sunnah he left. There's 3 versions. Quran and Sunnah, it says he left. Quran and Al-Bay, it says he left. And there's other versions that says he left only the Quran. That's another thing. Muslims out here, you need to stop takfiring each other. Stop calling one a kafir. Because the kafirs in the Quran, they didn't believe in no Quran. They didn't believe that Allah, the deity, would send any message to any human being. They didn't believe that at all. They said there's no such thing as a message from Allah. What are they talking about? That's how the kafirs believed. Okay? And I'll prove that some other time too. All right? Stop doing that. A brother who believes in Allah, believes that Allah is one, believes actually that Muhammad was a messenger, okay? That's not a kafir. Unless he says, I don't believe, it's like it says, belief in Allah, belief in the angels, belief in the books, belief in the decree. You have to believe those things. But if we're arguing over an interpretation of how that might be, don't call him no kafir. That's not a kafir. He might have some misunderstanding, but he's not a kafir. Okay? So, that is what makes a messenger of Allah. Okay? Is that he receives what they call the Risalah, the message. When he receives the Risalah, the message, it is in the Kitab, the book that he brings. So when that messenger finally leaves, he leaves it in the book. He leaves it in the book. He leaves it in the book. He leaves it in Kitabulillah, the book of Allah. Musa had a book. Ibrahim had a suhuf, a book. Those are the books. Those are the books we believe in. These hadith books are history books. Wahi. They're not wahi. They're not revelation. There are people who may have saw something or heard something, and in many cases they didn't hear and see nothing. A lot of them fabricated. They didn't see nothing. But they're history books. Right and wrong in them. They're not deen. They're not the judgment from Allah that he revealed as wahi to us. It may talk about it. That's like a spectator. He sees it over here and he writes it down over there. Sort of like, the Gospels, I guess, such and such, such and such. So we always want to talk about that. Such and such, John who, Mark who, John. They wrote about it. But that's not Wahi. And so we got to understand. I know they're going to say all that. He's the enemy of the Sunnah. Sunnah. If you go look in the Quran, Allah mentions Sunnah. So how come every time Allah mentions something, He mentions it in a different way than how you mention it in the other books, in the Hadith books? You can look at the Quran. The word Sunnah is in the Quran. You understand? The word Hadith is in the Quran. Is that not the Wahi? Is that not the revelation from Allah? Stop being scared. Stop being scared. Put your trust in Allah like you do these fallible books. Allah gave you a promise inside that book. Hey, even if you're afraid, right? You could take, look, Allah made the statement. You say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you said this. On the day of judgment, Allah, you said this in your book. You gave a guarantee in your book. And you know I'm a fallible human being. You may misunderstand some things. Because Allah judges you to your attention. What you scared of then? So you know what? I'm letting it be known. I dismiss these hadith books. I just put them in the category of history now. I read some. That's nice, interesting. But you know what? They're not Wahi from Allah. Now, how do you do your salat? It's simple. You stand, recite the book, you bow, you prostrate, you glorify Allah. I will give you the proof of that too. Now you're saying to yourself, brother, hold on, subhanallah, astaghfirullah. Something's missing. What about the rakats? What about you still don't get it. See, you should be asking the other way around. Your base should be the other way around. Your base should be the salat in the Quran, Aki. Brothers and sisters, your base supposed to be the Quran. That's first. Even if we're saying there's one and then the second thing, right? Which I don't believe is the second thing, but that's first. So if the Quran don't mention it, if Allah, who's all-knowing, understand what I'm saying here. Allah, who is all-knowing, He knows the best words. He has the best names. He revealed messages upon messages to many of the prophets. Our creed is inside the Quran. Belief in Allah, belief in the angels, belief in the books, belief in divine decree. You think Allah made a mistake? You think He made a mistake? You think He forgot something? You think He forgot to tell you to do a rakat? Think. You was Christian before, right? A lot of you were Christian before. Think. Go back to that person. Think. You came into a deen and they giving you interpretations and you closed your mind. And they put these scholars above you. Al-Ulama they call them. Or Faqih they call them. And guess what? The people that are calling themselves Al-Ulama and Faqih don't even match what Faqih and Al-Ulama is in the Quran. Now, if that shakes you, check this out. I'll refer to a hadith for you so you're not that shook. The Prophet inside the hadith says what? To the Muslims. He says, verily, you will follow them inch by inch, span by span, until you're all in the same hole. And the companion said, who are you referring to, Ya Rasulullah? And they said, the Christians and Jews? He said, yes, who else? So you don't think that you have now a rabbi that legislate for you in the deen? You don't think that? I go to the sheikh such and such. I go to the scholar such and such. Oh, the scholar says it right here. He says, ask those who know. Ask those who know. Did you ever bother to go look at the ayat that he quoted to you? When it says, ask those who know. Did you go bother to go look and seek Allah, your Lord, who revealed the book? Did you go seek Him? Did you do dua? Did you ask Allah al-Hadi, Allah al-Alim, the all-knowing? Did you ask him, oh Allah, show me? Oh Allah, guide me. I put my trust in you alone. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la. La sharika la. No partner. No partner. No sharer in his authority. No sharer in his law giving. But you have them today though. They share in giving you laws. They share in giving you deen. And they legislate for you. And you follow it. And you trust them. And you put your heart in them. They tell you, oh, this deen is built on trust. Trust of who? Trust of who? Allah, the all-knowing? Yes. Followable men with followable books that they pick and choose and make into sects. One is this and one is that and one is this, but we were told don't divide. And then they tell you and me, we're locked in these sects, you know? We can't get out of them. You can't be a Muslim without them. SubhanAllah. I curse, may the curse of Allah be upon lies. Notice what I said? Lies. May Allah free all of us. And it's not that hard if you just trust your Lord. If you understand La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. He has no partner. He does not share, not even with his prophet. Listen to what I'm saying to you. They have told you that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shares in authority with Allah. Allah can legislate and Muhammad can legislate too. We always talk about those who say Trinity, right? We say it all the time. Oh, how do you do 1 and 3? How do you? But here we are. Muhammad legislates because he's a prophet, and Allah legislates because he's Allah. Well, let me ask you something. If you believe like that, did Allah reveal a revelation straight to you? Did he talk straight to you? Send you a book? Send you wahi? No. So however else he's going to send it, through the messenger he appointed, his message will come to you. So that's what makes him a messenger. If you go to, I'm going to give you one proof. If you go to Surah 66, Ayah 1, you will see that Muhammad one time made a mistake. What happened was he did not act on revelation. He did not act on the Rasulah, the message given to him yet. Because he ain't got one. He didn't get one at that time. Right? Meaning that Allah did not tell him to do a thing and he went and did it. Instead, he used his own brain. He went to his wife. She told him something. And he made something haram for himself. What is my point in saying that? You see, Muhammad ibn Abdullah by himself can make a mistake. Muhammad ibn Abdullah can make something haram that Allah may halal. In other part of the Quran it says what? And do not say with your own mouths, this is haram and this is halal, to ascribe a lie to Allah. You know why Allah left that there? I'm not going to say why Allah left that there because I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what the wisdom I get from that. And then you can accept it or reject it, of course. The reason why Allah, I think, left that there, O Prophet, why did you make haram that which Allah made halal, is because he knew, and of course we know he knew, that one day people would start saying that Muhammad shares in legislating with Allah. Shares. So he left that there. O Prophet, why did you make haram what Allah may halal, seeking to please your wives? See? Left it there so me and you would catch, hold on. If we supposed to follow, if we follow Allah and obey the messenger, if the understand obey the messenger is obey Muhammad and whatever he tells us to do, how's he making something haram that Allah didn't make haram? That don't make sense. I'll tell you how. Because at that moment he denied wahi. He was not acting on wahi. He was not acting on the message. He was not acting on the revelation. Only he's the messenger of Allah when he's acting on the message given to you. So there's no way that when these guys come to you and say, you accept what Prophet Muhammad says as Muhammad himself. No way. Because he's a person like me and you. Not saying he's a bad person. I'm just saying that he can make mistakes. You understand? And therefore, if that is his sunnah, if you believe that's his sunnah, you're going to be making a whole lot of mistakes and a whole lot of harams. Because he's only a messenger when he has the message coming from his mouth from the angel Jibreel, or directly thrown into his heart from Allah. That's when he's the messenger to you. And there are hadiths in the hadith books that even has that viewpoint in there, but they've mixed it up with so much stuff that, it's hard to sort it out for a lot of people. But one time he was walking down the street. I'll narrate one to you. I really don't want to do it, but I want to make it's soft for you. I don't want to make too much shock for you. You understand? But one day he was walking, and he saw some people watering their trees. Saw some of the companions watering the trees. So he said, I wouldn't do that. So they stopped doing it. Check this out. Listen to it. They stopped doing it. Now, why did they stop doing it? Because he's what? He's what? The messenger of Allah, right? He's the messenger of Allah, right? So, the next time the prophet came, he said what? He saw the trees dead. And he asked the Ansar, this is when he was with the Ansar, he said, what happened? They said, you said don't water the trees. and they died. He said, only if I tell you that it's revelation, you have to listen to me. But other than that, you best know your life. Meaning you best know your way to how to operate this. Yeah, remember, Prophet Muhammad wasn't from Medina. He was from Mecca. In Mecca, they didn't have all them trees like that. See? So they didn't have that science. The only way he would ever know that science is if Allah chose to reveal that to him. And who knows which revelation Allah was revealing around that time in Medina. Because he might not remember, the Quran came in stages, or he was told to give it in stages. Okay? So that's my whole point. Muhammad in himself as Muhammad ibn Abdullah, it's just Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He can make a mistake. Okay? So the concept they got you believing in what is Sunnah is wrong. Sunnah is only the practice that he's supposed to practice that's in the book of Allah. Whatever Allah told his prophet to do and practice under revelation, that is the practice. If Muhammad did that, then that is the sunnah of the prophet. So, what I'm saying is, if you want to know what a sunnah of the prophet is, go read more of the Quran. Look at what Allah gave them as an order, and Muhammad was a dedicated servant of Allah, so he would have practiced it. It's not hard when you start going. At first, it's going to be weird, because that's not the way we're taught. All right, but if you slowly show yourself steady, step by step, stage by stage, and you study Allah, and you keep doing du'as to Allah, you pray to Allah, you ask him to guide you, trust me, I know from experience right now, and I feel so good. I feel so good. Because the book that I fully trust in only as my deen, I know it can be no mistake in it. It comes from the Lord of the worlds. I don't need sheikh, scholar, fooling over here. Now, that don't mean you don't seek knowledge like in this way. If I study and you study, you share what you got, I share what I got. Allah is the one who guides the perception. Don't it say inside the Quran, it says, Allah is the one who wills to guide. He wills those whom he guides, and he makes to go astray those whom goes astray. Allah is the teacher. Allah is Al-Alim. Allah is Al-Hadi, the guide. It don't mean that we don't share our knowledge, but what they have did today is they made a hierarchy of people you have to trust, people that you have to accept their decisions. And if you don't, you feel like you went against your deen, because when they finally tell you this is mandatory, you have to do it like this. I sorted through these different hadiths and I went to school this long. Madrasa. I have a certificate. I have ijaza. Who are you? And then you see how people mock. You see how they turned us into mockers. Allah said, don't go throughout the earth being an arrogant bragger. And then the followers of these scholars and sheikh are bragging and arrogant. Oh, this TV sheikh. Oh, this Facebook sheikh. Oh, this. That's arrogance. You don't know what understanding Allah to give to who. Inside the Quran, it tells you Allah guides whom He wills. He didn't say He guides only those who get a jaza. They go to scholar, they get the madrasa, they get the certificate, they are guided. A munafiq can do that too. A munafiq can do that too. A munafiq can do that too. So you think that's al-ulama? When you go read the definition of al-ulama in the Quran, it's very clear. Those who have yaksha, those who have hope and fear in Allah. Those who have hope and fear in Allah. A munafiq doesn't have hope and fear in Allah. So guess what? The al-ulama of the Quran can never be a hypocrite. He can never be a munafiq unless he decides to turn away from the messages of Allah. Then he can be a munafiq. If he turns away and says, you know what, I don't want that. I'm all right. I don't need that. I don't need the revelation. I don't need the book of Allah. But yeah, there's different versions of this hadith they have. And you know why? I'm going to explain to you something. You see, when you make something hard, when you make something complex, when you create a problem, then you need a specialist to solve the problem. So now you depend on that specialist to solve the problem. Now your will is in submission to that specialist who solves your problem. So now they lock you into sects. And you're trapped. But even inside the hadith historical books, it has glimpses of the truth. That there will come a time where we as Muslims will be like the Jews and be like the Christians. You know what? If you go look up right now, Judaism, and you go look up the Torah, they have the written Torah, and then they have, we talk about it all the time, but we never catch on, do we? They have what they call the Talmud. You've heard of it. Talmud. And we always talking about that Talmud. We own them about the Talmud when it got in here. But the Talmud has two parts to it, mainly. The Jamiyah and the Mishnah. And do you know what these serves as? They serve as hadith, serve today for us. They serve as tafsir, serves today for us. The only difference is, and this is where the scholars try to always make a big deal. Oh, they don't have isnad. They don't have chains. So we went to the isnad. Listen. A lot of our hadiths originally didn't have chains either. That happened over the course of time. Okay? So that's not much of a big difference. Because they have generations and generations and generations of rabbis in Judaism that pass down traditions. Okay? So just because they don't call it isnad, don't mean they ain't got something like that. The thing is that the Quran emphasizes that they legislate something in the deen and the people follow it. And of course they want to throw in the word blindly, so I'll throw that in there, blindly. Right? But the key importance part is they legislate something for you in your deen. When you sit there and you say, La ilaha illallah. Wahdahu, he's one. La sharik, no sharer, no partners. That means no prophets can share. That means no scholar can share in legislation from Allah. Only Allah is the legislator. Because if I ask you right now, from your own knowledge, what did Moses come with? You're going to tell me the Torah, right? Are you going to say that Moses came with the Torah and he came with Talmud? But all the prophets are the same, right? The same deen as he gave to you as he gave to Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus. And he said, make no difference in your deen. La tatafakaru. No division. Don't distinguish, don't separate it. But have we did it though? Have we did like the Jews? Do we got a Talmud now? Do we got another set of books? We treat the second books like they're the first book. Soon as we want to know something, we go to the Hadith books. Most of the time we go to the Hadith books because we're taught Hadith books explain the Quran. Subhanallah, you're saying Allah can't explain himself, Akhi. Brother and sister, you're saying Allah cannot explain himself. Subhanallah. And I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm not downing you. I'm saying I was doing the same thing too. You understand? Because, that's how we were taught. But the fact of the matter is this. Here's the key. If you want to be like the messenger of Allah, we say we believe in Allah and his messengers and books. If you want to be like them like we're supposed to, we have to do like them. We have to practice like them. Prophet Muhammad, what did he resort to? We say sunnah. We say we practice. What is the practice of the prophet concerning Allah and his book? Does the prophet listen to the wahi, the revelation from Allah? Yes, he does. Does he resort to any other book? No, he doesn't. So if we're following the messenger of Allah, we're following the message that he gave us, which is where? In the book of Allah. Now, inside the book of Allah, you have clear ayats and you have unclear ayats. You're supposed to follow the clear ayats and lean your trust on that. And then as you study more and more and more, if Allah chooses, he will open up your heart to another level of understanding the unclear ayats with the clear ayats. But that takes a course of time. That's why we have a word called sabr, patience, constancy. You see? So don't be scared in your deen if you don't know everything that's in the Quran. Oh gosh, I gotta follow the Quran by itself. What do I do? Calm down. Allah is not an unjust Lord. He's not an unjust God. He's the all-knowing, the all-wise, the merciful. And his prophets, his messengers got the books, especially, Prophet Muhammad at least, got the book stage by stage. And you're his followers. So you're going to get the knowledge from the same book that he brung you stage by stage. It's going to be a course of time. You're not going to get it ready, fixed, ready made, fixed and packaged like these guys want to sell you, these scholars, make you impatient. And just want, I want the answer right now. It takes time for you to get the answer because this is a spiritual thing. This is a purifying your heart thing. This is a communication with your Lord thing. This is you reaching out to Al-Hadi, the guide, and getting the guidance. He guides you in the book. He gives you understanding in the book. And guess what? He gives you understanding to the level of your own spirituality. Everyone's not going to be on the same level of spirituality. So that means Allah is going to give them different levels of understanding. It was never meant for us to be in a sect. It was never meant for us to follow, just this rigid way, one way. No. The one way is contained in the book itself with the clear verses. For example, belief in Allah, belief in the angels, belief in the books, belief in the divine decree. Now, what about my actions? Help the orphan, help the needy, free the slave, Be kind to your neighbors, the one near and the one far. That's the Siratul Mustaqim. Do not take the life Allah has made forbidden, except in the way that Allah has told you. Meaning, if they've murdered somebody, it's permissible. Or they caught facade up on the earth, and they're going around robbing and then they're killing at the same time. They're doing double, triple thing. Then Allah has permitted you to take the life. But along with that is mercy. If you decide to forgive, then alhamdulillah. See? There are literal laws that's easy for anybody to understand, and you don't need no specialist to understand it. They just want to be a specialist. They want to insert themselves in there so they have control and they have power over you, and you will never, ever, ever, ever seek Allah alone. Allah is the one that created your body. Allah is the one who created your brain. Allah is the one that created your soul. Allah is the one who created your instinct. Allah is the one who's in control of all of that. You need no middleman. All you had was messengers of Allah. And guess what? The message is complete. So, who told these people to add these other fallible people with fallible books into the deen? They assert themselves. You want to know why? Because they want power. They want to make finances off the religion. Some of them are well-intentioned. They go to the madrasas, they go to school, and they're taught a certain way. Understand this. When you go to any institution of learning, they teach you in a curriculum. You're learned a certain way how they want you to learn. And you stay within them boundaries and them guidelines. Right? So, that's the problem. But if you go to the Book of Allah, that's the boundary and guidelines you should stay in. The boundaries of your Lord. And fear no other. See? Don't be anxious. Don't fear no other. Oh, he's going against the Sunnah. Be careful, brother. Well, check this out. If Muhammad really said them things he did, what other people say he did. See the difference? What other people say he did. That's how we get on the Christians, ain't it? What Matthew said Jesus did. What John said Jesus did. But then we say what? Well, it wasn't even Matthew. It wasn't even John. It's some other person, disciple. But when it comes to the same rule, we don't apply it to ourselves. SubhanAllah. So, we don't want to deify Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We don't want to make him an idol with Allah. We don't want to make him a sharer in his authority is what I mean. I'm not saying you're praying to him. I'm saying he's a legislator along with Allah. And they got stories for you to make you believe that. You know? So, I mean, again, I read the history books. I read the hadith books. When I say history books, now you know what I'm talking about. I read the Muslim history books, hadith books. You know, a lot of it is, you know, garbage. It's flawed. I don't care about the chain of narrators. You know, that's a long history. You know, even them narrators usually, you know, be at each other. You know, so I mean, it's just a whole lot of sectarianism that, you know, even within them hadith books it'll tell you. You know, but here's one thing I'll say in there, and I'll bring this one too, so you can see it for yourself. Ahmad bin Hanbal has a narration, and it's a narration. There's a lot of them, but no one catches on. I won't say no one, but anybody that has caught on, a lot of them don't speak on it, or they just ignore it. And it's concerning Surah 6, ayat 151, 153. Okay, inside those ayats, you'll see it literally names it. Allah calls it that. I don't care what other people say. Allah says, "This is my Siratul Mustaqim. This is my straight path." See, we have to start trusting Allah like we trust them scholars. The word alim is the name that we give them, but Allah's al-alam. We have to trust what Allah says right, just like we trust what they say is right. We have to switch it around because our base is completely wrong. It's flawed. Our trust is in fallible books. They'll admit they're fallible books unless the scholar picks out the hadith for you that is not fallible. Did that scholar receive wahi? SubhanAllah. We are a people. We are a deen that's under wahi. We are not like the pagan Quraysh who go to fallible men who don't have wahi. We don't do that. This is about prophethood. This is not about non-prophets. So when did non-prophets, people that don't get no wahi from Allah, when did they get to decide what is what in deen? SubhanAllah. And on that, but Ahmad ibn Hanbal has this narration where it talks about Sirat al-Mustaqim. And he gives a description, and there's variations of it, but one day the Prophet is walking, and he stops, and he draws a line in the sand. He says, "This is my straight path. Follow it." And then he draws branches on the ground to the side, to the right side and left side. He says, "And this are other paths. Do not go astray from the straight path. Do not follow any other path." That hadith is common. And then there's a longer one where it talks about there was a companion who would come to him and ask him about bad times after the Prophet would leave. He said, a lot of people used to ask about the good, but I decided to ask the Prophet about bad. And I asked him, will there be any bad after this Islam? And he says, yes. He says, and then after that, will there be any good? He says, yes, but it will be tainted. Listen, this is not hadith, and I'll show it to you when I bring out the other video about it. I'll bring the proofs. But if you're familiar with the hadith, you already know it. But you're probably seeing it in a different perspective. So this is what he's talking about the future of Islam. Listen to me, because right now you believe Islam is pure. You believe Islam is pure. If a person talks on Sunnah, if a person talks on that, Kufr, Kafir, even Sheikh said, Kafir, and then he warns. Listen, that is brainwashing mentality. When a sheikh or a scholar or take the title off him, when anybody tell you don't listen to that person because of what he preached, you're warning. And then you close your brain, you close your mind to some information he might be able to give you. You are blindly following somebody. That is cultish. You're locked in. And you're only getting what that person's saying. See the difference with me? I'm not pointing you to no sheikh. I'm not even pointing you to myself. I'm pointing you to the book of Allah. Rely on the book of Allah. I open up to Allah. You pray to Allah. You ask Allah for forgiveness. That's what I'm calling you to. I'm not calling you to no sheikh or no scholar or no rabbi or no priest or no fallible men. Only the prophets are the ones who were sent to this world with authority to give us the message of what Allah's deen is for us. And the only reason why they had the authority to say that is because they had wahi from Allah. They had the revelation from Allah. Other than that, they would not even be allowed to speak about what Allah is. You are not supposed to say nothing about Allah unless you know it. But that's not. And then you want to know why the Muslim world's so messed up. You got the guided sect, right? That's what you're told. But even where the guided sect at, it's all messed up. Even those claiming in the guided sect, it's all messed up. So let me continue. So he asked him. He said, then after this good, will there be any bad? The Prophet said yes. He said, and then after this bad, will there be any good? He says yes, talking about Islam. He said, but it will be tainted. He said, you will see people's actions. The good thing they do, you approve, but then the other things you will not approve of. Then what he say? He says, and then after that, there will be callers to the gates of hell. And he says, will you describe them for me? That's what the companion asked him. Describe them for me. He said, they will be those who speak our own language and look like us. And that's where you are today. That's where you are today. They will look like us and they will speak our language. And that is what you rely on today. Another hadith one, I want to give you another one that you may be familiar with. He said, it's narrated. Stick with the Jama'ah and their Amir. A companion turned around and said, but Ya Rasulullah, what if there is not one community and they do not have one commander over them, or some people translate Khalifa over them? He says, separate yourself from all them sects and take yourself, and some narration says, and take yourself to the tree and grip and hold tight to your iman. That's where you're at today. There is no safe sect. I know what you're thinking. He says, the sect that follow me and my companions. But even in that hadith, you failed to realize something. I failed to realize something. So when I say it to you, I'm not just saying it to you. I'm saying it to me too, because I'm part of it too. You see, the safe sect hadith has many versions. And again, if you relied on it, you'll be back to a scholar or a sheikh who will choose for you in your deen and legislate for you what the right one is. And then the other sheikhs and scholars over there will legislate to their followers over there which one it is. And you will be stuck in sectarianism, calling the other one kafir. So you think Allah legislated for you a sect? When he said in his book, no sects, la tatafaqaru, do not make no divisions. And then people have the response, we're already in a division. Well, the response to you is, the Quran says don't. That means get out of them. Those who divide in their religion, the Quran says you have no part in it or them. You don't have no part in it. Don't tell me you stuck in it. You don't have no part in it. So you look at what makes the sect, and those things that make it into a sect, you leave it alone. The only way, the only version of hadith out there that could possibly make us not be into sects, hating each other, is if we all went by the book of Allah by itself. Because if you put anything else with it, as a mandatory, I'm saying, as a mandatory, I'm going to feel loyal to that. You're going to feel loyal to that. And then when that happens, you get these sheikhs and you get these scholars whom you have to go to about that. Because now I need to know what is the learned thing in that thing. See? So because I have to become learned, I have to know what that is. Then I have to go to this sheikh and I have to go to this scholar. And they always say it's sort of like medicine. You don't just open up a book and start practicing medicine. Well, listen, you're not a doctor. Stop using that symbol, that dissimilarity. It don't apply. This is deen from Allah, from our creator of the heavens and the earth, who created our very hearts. He is closer to you than your jugular vein. So why do you need a scholar or a sheikh and alim when he's closer to you than your jugular vein? Think, reflect. This is Tawheed. This is not even Tawheed. Don't even say Tawheed. It's not even the Quran either. See, we're Hanafin. We're Hanafin. That's what he called it. When he said about Abraham, he said he leans towards monotheism. He said Hanafin. We are Hunifa. We're the Hunafa. We're monotheists. Milato Ibrahim. On the creed of Ibrahim. Tawheed is not even in the book of Allah. You know that? That's what I mean. But they will make excuses for you. Oh, the word Aqidah, not in the Quran. But, Arabic, terminology, it evolves over the course of time. So what? It's not in the book of Allah. Yeah, but brother, you must use your reasoning and logic. I'm sticking with what Allah said. That is the right rationality and reasoning. I'm sticking exactly what Allah said so that you cannot use terminology, tricknology. just like Iblis did to Adam. Allah said simply, do not go near that tree. Shaitan got all types of, yeah, but see, no. Allah said, don't go near the tree. Yeah, well, he's saying that because you might become like an angel or look. Then I'm not supposed to be like the angel or the immortal, whatever. Okay, don't go near the tree. Man, you're so simple-minded. Well, I'm simply stuck on my Lord. I'm simply stuck on the law. I'll be simple and take my simple self to Jannah while you take your complex self, involving in this and involving in that and going to this shake and having to read and all that stuff, taking others as lords with Allah in legislation. Excuse me, I'm not calling nobody kafir. I'm just saying it appears that way to me. You understand? Because it just appears that way, It really does, honestly. But I'm not going to come out and call nobody a kafir or nobody mushrik. You see what I'm saying? But I will say to you inside the book, you're not supposed to have no legislators with Allah. So if you are saying that Muhammad legislates something to you that Allah did not tell him, then that means you're saying that Muhammad came up with it on his own. And that means that is an infallible opinion, because Muhammad ibn Abdullah by himself is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. And he's only the messenger of Allah when the message is given onto him. Simple. And this deen was made to be simple. So all of the so-called scholars out there who call themselves alim or fuqaha, and they say you're making it too simple, listen. It's very simple in the Quran when you read. It's supposed to be simple. The salah is supposed to be simple. Because you know what? You got a lot of Quran to memorize. You got a lot of Quran to understand. Not just parrot like a parrot. See? Most of us nowadays, even the Quran reciters, they just parrot like parrots. They don't even know what it's saying. Parrot like parrots. You know why? Because they too stuck into this fiqh rule, too stuck into that fiqh rule, too stuck into that hadith, too stuck into that hadith, too stuck into that science of hadith, too stuck into that sheikh who came up with that science of that hadith. You done studied all this stuff, and the ayats of Allah, you barely even know. Subhanallah. You ain't got time for that. You got time to turn around and raise your hands to Allah and do it to Allah and ask Allah to guide your heart, guide your soul, guide your understanding. And rely on that like Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam relied on that. Rely on that like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would rely on that. Rely on that like Nabi Isa would rely on that. Rely on that like all the Nabiyeens would rely on Allah alone. That's their example. If you want to call it a sunnah, that's their sunnah. Why are you busy in these hadith books? Now, I'm not saying they may not have some knowledge. I didn't say that. But your primary concern is deen from Allah, not deen from people. Connect your heart to Allah so that it purifies you and it opens up, and then Allah will start to speak to you in certain ways on the level of your understanding and elevate you. When you're confident in the perfect book, no one could tell you nothing. When your Lord is al-Hadi, the guide, no one could tell you nothing. I swear to you. No one. I'm telling you, it was hell switching from Salafi, Hanafi, studying a little bit of Shafi, studying a little bit of Maliki, Shia. These imams and those imams, the imams of guidance, the imams of Estrella. What sheikh, what scholar? Oh, you got followers over there? His followers don't like me because I'm a follower of this sheikh. You're too much devoted to people instead of your Lord. Alone. Wadahu. La sharika la, no partner. None. when you get like that all the way, that brother, you don't got no, hey, he might have a different level of understanding the Quran, but you're like, alhamdulillah, I'm not there. I don't. And that's concerning mutashabihat. That's concerning allegorical ayats, which we're not even supposed to dwell in. You see, really. We're supposed to dwell in the muhakimat, meaning the governing ayats, the clear ayats. It even says that in the Quran. Those who study and they follow the best of the book, those are ones that Allah has guided. But then it says in another ayat, it says, and these are verses of the book, some of them are fundamental and clear, and others are allegorical, unclear. Those in whose heart is a perversity seek the unclear in order to cause conflict and dissension, because basically there's greatness in their chest. They want to be great. And that's the problem today. Look at all these, look at them, a lot of these sheikhs and a lot of these scholars. Greatness in the chest. Look at some of these speakers on the YouTube even. I've heard people even say, and I haven't found it yet. I'm still waiting for it to happen to me. But they say that when you get up in front of the camera and you're speaking, you know, you start feeling like, what's the word they use? You start feeling like, I don't know, like somebody, like really important and stuff. There's this adrenaline that rushes and stuff like that. But they said it was like you get this pride and type thing, you know? You know, I don't get no pride from doing this. Because you know why? I'm not speaking about myself. I'm not speaking about my favorite sheikh. I'm not speaking about my favorite sect that I'm a part of so that I feel like, oh yeah, look at us. It's us against them. See? I'm talking to you about simply your Lord. The book that we supposed to be following all the way alone. That's it. There ain't no, I'm not exalting myself. I'm not pride. It's not about me. But I am sharing because it's beautiful. And this last month I've been fighting it. But I can't fight it no more. Because if I fight, I feel like I'm going to be punished. I didn't even want to get on here and do this. But if I don't, it's just, you know, the hadith books are followable. And you know it and I know it. Even the ones that say sahih. You know, you can have two sahih hadiths and they conflict with each other. You know that? Did you know that? And then they argue over what sahih is. The Hanafis say, and their scholars say, the original Hanafis, because they got different groups. They got Deobandi Hanafis, you know what I'm saying, that are more, from what I understand, like Shafi school of understanding now, although they call themselves Hanafis. Then you got the traditional Hanafis who are like the old Hanafi type of understanding. But even they will tell you, when you listen to each one of them, their definition of Sahih is different. I know, because I got the books. Yeah, you guys have seen me post some few of the books I've had. You know. And don't let them do their trick knowledge on which book you got. No, that's not the right. I mean, listen, get out of here with that. Because you're proving my point even by saying that. See, when they say that's not the right science of hadith, this is the right science of hadith. And then each one of them has their own different terminology and definitions of hadith, of what hadiths are and what they call them. I'm telling you, they make it complex so that they can have control over you. That's why they make it complex. And then they get you stuck into a group, and then you get to make other people, you get to have control over other people under the name of that group or under the name of that sect. But Allah says, La tatafaqaru. And then they will turn around and tell you, we're not in a sect. We're in the method school of thought. We're not in a method. We're not in no sect. This is a method of study. Okay. Well, why did you change the terminologies that are in the book of Allah? Why did you call the word jalsa in the Arabic Why you call that the sitting position in Salah? But the Quran calls it Quda'ah. If you don't want to misguide us from the book. Why can't we just stay with the terminologies of our Lord? If you go ask them the word fiqh, they'll say, well, originally the word fiqh just means understanding the deen. But today, fiqh means jurisprudence of these scholars. And these are all the different rules you have to take to learn this jurisprudence, the fiqh. And that's a faqih. But Allah did not say that that's a faqih in there. And Allah didn't say an alim is a person that gets an ijazah, who goes to a madrasa and studies for years of books of hadith, and some Quran. Allah says al-ulama are those who fear Him. You see, what they're not telling you, now I'll prove it. Don't worry, the next video, when I bring the proof, I'll show it to you. You can go look it up yourself though. Al-ulama in the Quran, the knowing ones. And don't let them splice ayats, because that's what they do. They'll take one part, a little part down below the part of the ayat, and want to read the first part of the ayat and give you tafsir on that. Ask those who know. Okay, what's the ayat before that say? Not even the ayat before that. What did the whole ayat say? SubhanAllah, it's a travesty. I'm telling you. It's a travesty. You know, al-ulama though, is those who fear Allah. They have yaksha, fear and hope of Allah. Through their study of nature, they reflected on Allah, and their hearts became with the reality that Allah is real and true. That those are those who know. In comparison to the disbelievers, those who are jahil, those who are ignorant, those who don't know. They don't know the oneness of Allah. But you who know the oneness of Allah through contemplation, through meditating on the science, those are al-ulama. Those are those who know. So the first stage sometimes before you become a mu'min and before you become a Muslim, before you submit, is that you become an alim. You become of those who know. You know Allah's oneness. You know that Allah is one. And so because you are those who know, now you submit. Aslam to, you submit to Allah, and then you become a man, you have full iman, so you are secure in faith. You're secure. Iman means security. But they took and they twisted it. Now Allama is some rabbi type thing we got going on, some hierarchy, who may be a munafiq. He went to an ijazah, he might even believe in Allah. But because he's faqih, because he's got the certificate, he's a sheikh, and he's doing fatwas. SubhanAllah. But like inside the hadith books, even some of them, they narrate here and there some truth. So I don't think I finished my thing about, oh, I did. But yeah. He says, there will be people who will speak our language and look like us. To the effect. So, you know, you're living in a time that, you think, you know, you're on the deen, but there's something mixed with the deen. You know, and people that call you away from that, they're gonna be called kafir, ahlul bidah, ahlul ahwa, people that's on their desires. And let me explain something to you about people who are on their desire, though, according to the Quran, though. People are on the desires of those who take their own desire as their God. And it's very clear inside the Quran. When Allah tells you to do a thing, that means guidance. So if He tells you help the orphan, feed the poor, be kind to your neighbors, these are actually the good deeds, by the way, on the day of judgment that will be weighed. See, it's simple. The deen is simple. You want to know how Islam first spread? It's that. When the Muslims first got this Quran, the simple teachings was simple. Believe in Allah. Believe in the message that came to Allah, from Allah through His messenger. Right? Because, see, you got to understand, you have to accept that there's a human messenger. So that's believe in the messengers, that there are messengers, that Allah does communicate with them. And then you believe in the message. That message is the book. that messenger came with, right? And you believe in the angels. It's that angel who came to that messenger with it. And you believe in Allah, who is the Lord of all of them, who is one. So then he said, do your prayer, salat, recite the book, bow prostrate, glorify your Lord. That's simple. When you're done, zakat, the orphan, help the needy, be kind to your neighbors near and far, right? Don't murder, don't kill, don't steal. See what I'm saying? Don't gamble. Saying, don't go throughout the earth an arrogant boaster. For Allah loveth not an arrogant boaster. These simple teachings is deen. The things he told you to do are the good deeds, and the things he told you don't do are the bad deeds. So you're supposed to race each other. Like, who gets up thinking about what can I help the orphan? And actually say, I'm going to go visit an orphan today. I'm going to get a team of brothers, sisters to go visit some orphans. Spend some time with them. You see what I'm saying? That's actual deen. That's not like, oh, well, maybe I might, as long as I do my salat. That's the other lie. The difference between a kafir and the Muslim is only salat. Really? That hadith is faulty. And that's the problem today. As long as I'm doing my salats, as long as I believe in Allah, alhamdulillah. No. You're supposed to race each other in the deeds. Huh? Salat, zakat is often mentioned together. Help the poor. Help the orphan. Liberate the Surah al-Balad. Liberate the slave. So, there's a lot of things in deen that we are supposed to do, and those are our good deeds that will be weighed. That's my key point in saying that to you. Because if you think only the salat is going to get you there, the salat is just for you. A lot of people, even I didn't understand at one time. The salat is just for you. It's for you to have that connection with Allah, and so that restrains you from doing the bad deeds. It helps it easier so that you stay in a state of humbleness, because you're constantly, remembering Allah. But Allah says remembrance of Allah is greater, because even outside the salat, that simple salat, you're always trying to remember Allah. You're always doing tafakkur. You're reflecting on Allah's nature. You're meditating in your heart and in your mind on the signs of Allah in the heavens and in the earth that leads back to the proof that Allah is one. You see? And that is the training that Allah puts your heart through. And that takes time. It don't happen overnight unless Allah wills it. So that's why Allah tells you to be sabr, have patience, be constant. Because this is an unfoldment of your soul. You see? It's an unfoldment of your soul. So deen is not like we've been taught. Deen is not like packaged up, ready meal. Deen is an unfoldment within your soul as you apply it stage after stage. And the ones who are truly having sabr means constant. The ones who constantly do it, those are the ones whom Allah's hearts, they open up to more guidance. Because they practice a little bit that they know. It starts as a little bit that you know. You practice that. And then Allah opens something up more easier for you to practice. And more easier for you to understand. Just like when he revealed the Quran over a course of years to the first generation. That is the true practice. Because I did a couple times salats the way the Quran say. And I sat up and I was like, this ain't got all the rules that they say the rules. So I felt weird for a second. But like when I used to be a Christian, I shook it off. I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and doubt. I said, them rules are in the followable books. And this book is the perfect book. So if I'm going to put a trust in something, I'm going to put it in a perfect book. If Allah didn't mention a rakat, then there ain't no rakat. If Allah didn't mention 2 sajdas mandatory, then there's no 2 sajdas mandatory. Why? Because the message is the book that Muhammad would have gotten. And Muhammad would have taught that. And therefore, if there was to be a hadith, somebody would have recorded that like that. But they didn't. So guess what? People have innovated and changed the salat from the Quran's way of salat. But they changed it in a secondary source. There are those who recite the book. It says inside the Quran. There are those who recite the scripture. And you would think it's from the scripture, but it's not from the scripture. So they go to these second books. Half the times these second books are interpreting ayats that are sliced in half. They're not even interpreting the whole ayat. Then they make up stories. So you're basing yourself on a secondary source. And you're reading that into the first source. And then you say that's the prophet's book. Or those are hadiths or the sayings of the prophet. Really? Let me give you something else for you to think about. See, we have a problem with that. And I'm going to show you something. We have a thing called Qudsi hadith. Who here knows what Qudsi hadith are? Qudsi hadith is where supposedly Allah revealed something to the prophet. Now listen close. He revealed something to the prophet, but the prophet used his own words. We don't got that many Qudsi hadith. We don't. But here's the strange thing. When we're told about hadith, we're told generally to follow hadith, right? So now my question would be, hold on though. If Muhammad had his own authority, or, he had a second revelation, as they tell us, there's a second type of revelation, although the Quran don't straight say that. They got to interpret it to make it like that. When Allah himself could just easily say that to us. But he does easily say he revealed the Quran. He does easily say he revealed that as a revelation. Revelation back to back over the course of years. So those are the revelations, plural, too. Let's say we was accept Qudsi hadith. Then by technicality, that would be the hadith only that you would mandatory have to follow. Because it's Qudsi hadith. It's hadith from Allah through his messenger, but the messenger used his own words. But that's not what they tell us. They say you got Qudsi hadith, holy hadith, they translate it as. But it just means set apart hadith. And you have the general hadith, right? So you got the general hadith, and then you have the Qudsi hadith. Well, which one is really revelation? Which one is really wahi? Because if the general hadith is a lot of that is sunnah of the prophet, how come that's not wahi? So, really, technically, I'm supposed to just follow Qudsi hadith. If I was to go by that theory. So, guess what? You know how it describes Prophet Muhammad, how he did his salats in the hadith? Those are not Qudsi hadith. I'm not doing it to make fun of people. I'm just like, those are not Qudsi hadith. When people say the prophet prayed like this and he prayed like that and he prayed like this, those are not Qudsi hadith. They're not in the category of that. So those aren't even holy hadith. Or hadith from Allah through the prophet using his own words. There's big problems. That's big problems. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm here to free my people. I don't want my people under none of that. They choose as they will, though. But I'm just sharing it with you. It's beautiful when you can wake up and you're finally comfortable with what Allah say 100%, and you're not worried. You're comfortable. You're comfortable that your Lord, your Rabb, told you how to do salat right, And you're not bickering whether it's the Maliki form or the Shafi form or the Abu Hanafi form or the Salafiyah. Do I turn right? Do I turn left? Or the Ibadi style? Or the Maliki style, I turn just once right? Or do I turn right, left? And then the scholars will come back and say, this guy is ignorant who's talking. We don't argue about that. All them ways is the way the prophet did it. Yeah, you say that now. You say that now. But if you dig deep enough in the fiqh books and you go back to the scholars before, they had the Imam Shafi. They had bad to say about Imam Shafi. They had bad to say about Imam Malik. They had bad to say about Imam Hanif. And everyone had their followers. Until they came up with that, pulling it all together, and we just all the ways is acceptable. Okay? If all the ways are acceptable, then they would never tell you you can't switch to another fiqh school. Let's talk about that. If you follow Shafi way method and using his methodology, you cannot follow Hanafi way using his methodology. Why? Because supposedly the methodology that they use gives you a certain type of answer the way that it's supposed to be done. And if you mix the two different ways, then they say you're ahlu ahwa, you're ahlu ahwa, a person who's following their own desire. Hold on, stop. Okay, but you're saying this school is okay, right? In that method, yes. And you're saying this school is okay in that method, yes. And you're saying that all of that is under Islam, yes. Then why can't I mix them? It's Islam. Because, brother, each scholar had a method of it. See, Kalas. I understand what you're saying. I'm not stupid. I'm not ignorant. Okay? But because you accept the brainwashing don't mean I'm going to accept it. See? If that's Islam and that's Islam and it's one Islam, then why can't I mix it? And matter of fact, by the way, how do you mix the Islam? Is it separate or does it go together? Or did it come together at one time? And then some will say, well, brother, it don't matter. Go just mix them all together. Alhamdulillah. But you still prove my point, though. The minute you have to say it don't matter, just mix it all together, that means that there is something in conflict. That means that there is something that is dissentive or sectarian in nature. And la tatafakaru, we're not supposed to be divided like that. That's not even supposed to be our mentality with each other. You see? So then we get to those who don't go by no school, la madhab, no school at all, no method at all. They go straight to the hadith. And then they divide into different sects too. And they fall back on sheikhs. Who you stand for? Sheikh Bin Baz? You know, Sheikh, Albani. Sheikh. No. I used to follow Albani, but Albani is a deviant now. He's astray. And then this guy talking about, you can, subhanAllah, you can, if a woman is strange to you, if you suckle on her breast milk, she becomes your relative, not mahram for you, and so therefore now you can be alone with her. And you think this is from Rasulullah. They have a hadith for it. It's narrated by Aisha. SubhanAllah. Listen. So, if you are a person that became Muslim, like I became Muslim, I'm going to tell you straight up, Allah has never misled you, like in the way when you kept your mind open. Just ask Allah to guide your mind, guide your heart. And don't never shut that off. But just make it under Allah. You understand? We got to shake this. We got to get it back. We got to shake this. We got to shake that. Okay. So, I guess that's a little bit I'm going to share. And I hope it was clear. Again, it don't mean I don't read hadith books. So, let me explain that. Some people say, Quran alone, or, Quran alone, or say hadiths are haram. Okay? What I'm saying to you is, they're history books. They're not wahi. They was not revealed from Allah to the Prophet. And just because somebody talked about the Prophet does not make it wahi, does not make it revelation. Just because somebody else spoke about it, about what they saw the Prophet do, does not mean that wahi, that's revelation. But they made it into that. And I have to be honest, from what I've studied, Imam Shafi, I wasn't going to mention it, but I have to. Because it's that which I know of. Imam Shafi is the one, and listen, I have to point it out. I'm not trying to offend people who, under that school, but hey, it is what it is. Allahu Akbar. I hope your heart's not mad at me, but if it is, alhamdulillah. Imam Shafi, 2 books called Ar-Rasila and Al-Kitab. Ar-Rasila and Al-Kitab. Subhanallah. Why did he name that? Why did he do that? The Quran is called, inside of it is called Al-Kitab. The prophets, the messengers, they receive Ar-Rasila, the message. So why is Imam Shafi going to name his books that he wrote Al-Kitab and Ar-Rasila? And then argue that hadiths are wahi. That's where they get it from. That's where it really majorly blossomed. That hadiths are wahi, the revelation. He said, the ayah, and I bring it out one time, the hikmah, wisdom, is the sunnah. And then he used Arabic grammar because he was good at Arabic grammar. But just because you're good at Arabic grammar does not mean that you're not twisting the book. And they try to say that Ibn Masud was the first one to do this. He was the first one to take a part of an ayat and give a tafsir on it. They try to say that. Just throwing it out there. So it don't matter who did it. You got to understand something. We are told in Al-Fatiha, Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim. Tell me, am I lying? Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim. Did you say Ihdina As-Sunnah, Nabi? Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim. Show me the straight path. The path of those whom you have blessed. Not the path of those who earned your wrath, nor of those who went astray. So you're asking for Siratul Mustaqim. Allah mentions Sunnah in the Quran many times. Inside Surah 1, Ayah 151, 153, you will find Siratul Mustaqim. They are rules. See, at the time when they were saying Ihdina Siratul Mustaqim, it may have not been revealed yet. Surah 6 may have not been revealed yet. 151, 153. So, they finally got Surah 6, Ayah 153, 151, 153, and at the very end he says, this is my Siratul Mustaqim. This is my straight path. Do not follow any other path. So at the very top of it, he says, come, let me tell you what your Lord has really made haram for you. That you were, and then it goes on, he says, you worship Allah. One Allah, alone. That you be kind to your parents. Right? And then he goes on to other rules, that you do not take the life that Allah has made sacred, except for just cause how he's told you, for murder and stuff like that, right? That you help the orphan. See, these are the rules. This is Sirat al-Mustaqim that you were asking for. Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. You know, because you got to remember, the society it came into, they were burying little female girls. The orphans, they really started neglecting the orphans. So, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. Show us the straight way. Show us the right way. So Allah revealed it. Help the orphans. Help the feed. Don't murder, don't kill. Why do you have to say that? Because they were killing each other. They were killing each other. So everything he asked for guidance, he gave them the guidance. It's not complex the way they make it. And they make all these sciences, all these mandatory sciences of deen you got to know. No, it's a simple deen. It's a simple deen. I just got to go out there. I got to read it. The clear ayats, not the unclear, the clear ayats of rules and commands. Read it and go implement it in my life. Bismillah. And Allah opens up your heart and guides you more spiritually inward. He purifies you. That's the purifying. He teaches you the book. The book, Allah's the teacher. He taught Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad, through revelation, would tell you what Allah taught. And that will purify you. And that will give you the hikmah, the wisdom. See, hikmah, and I also bring that too, is the rules that Allah set down, the wise governing ayats. It's not a sunnah outside of the book, or a sunnah that, you know, Muhammad himself just came up with separate from what is revealed. That's not how that goes. That's not it. His sunnah, his practice, what was in the book. And therefore, if the hadith was even ever to be true, it should match exactly what's in that book. Exactly. There should be an ayat right next to all them hadiths. An ayat for each hadith that is there that's supposed to be true. But they don't have it like that most of the time. They don't have it like that. See, now you got to go to this fallible person, and he's got to pick and choose for you what is right and what is wrong in it. Do you really think Allah left you under non-wahi getting people when he took time, when he set a time, the time in our world to send people that would have wahi as messengers and prophets? And he wanted you to be under wahi? That he would turn around and take you up out of wahi to followable books? And that would become the sunnah? You believe that? Remember, when Allah judges, he knows the future, past, and present. What we call the future, past, and present. It's not future, past, and present for Allah. He sees it all at once. And he still revealed the book. And he still said what he said. Excuse me for a second. You want one of those? Assalamu alaikum. Go ahead. Choose one on the left. So, that's basically, you know, I think I finished everything I was saying. I was, again, I don't profess to be your scholars. I don't profess to be your sheikh. I don't care about them titles. You see, I don't seek those titles. I seek Allah. I seek His book. I seek forgiveness for my sins. I don't need to go to your madrasa that came in later on in the centuries of Islam. You know, another sign is this. You see your masjids, our masjids, they got domes on them. You know, Christians at first had domes on their buildings. That should be a sign to you. And now, when we go to build a masjid, most of the time we want a dome with a little crescent and star. He's like, well, that's a big deal, brother. What's wrong with that? It's architecture. Okay, I understand that. But my question to you is why when you think of a masjid, you think of a dome? It's the first thing that pops in your head. That's what I'm saying. The programming. It's a programming. When you think of salat, and I said it before, I'll say it again, you think of what's in hadith books, followable books. You don't think of, when you start first think of salat, you don't think of what's in the Quran. Ayahs don't come to your head, except for what they trained you to say. I'll say Al-Fatiha first. Then I say 2 surahs. Then I say, and that's it. Listen, the soul of an individual, every soul, I'll use the word vibrate, but vibrates at different levels. The ayahs that you're going to recite that's going to move me and move you are going to be different sometimes. And our unfoldment spiritually is going to be different at different stages and at different levels. So what ayahs am I supposed to get? You're supposed to read and study the book until the ayats that you're supposed to get hit you. Then you memorize those ayats. And then you start saying those ayats in your salat. It's good to say Al-Fatiha, you know, or the Hamd, as some people call it. It's good to say that. Alhamdulillah, I know what you're saying. Oh, the Prophet ﷺ said, you know, it's some narration 1/5 of the Quran, or half of the Quran, some people say. You know, but thank you. Assalamu alaikum. You can get one if you want one. Excuse me for a second. Hey, you know, it's just family. See, again, I'm not, you know, there's nothing wrong with having your family make noise when you're talking. I'll stop that. Y'all be extra serious. I mean, you don't want them making a lot of noise because then you want people to hear. Hey, could you take him and go over there? Inshallah. Because, you know, you want that? Let me see. Give him, yeah, go ahead, give him that one. Alhamdulillah. You wash your hands? Yeah. Okay, good. Sanitize. Okay, good. All right. Alhamdulillah. I'll be done here soon, inshallah. All right, take your brother. Come on. Close the door. Assalamu alaikum. Shut the door. So that's just a thing. And like what I'm saying right here, they would sit there and be like kafir. They would be like kafir. You know, mushrik, ahlul bidah, ahlul awwa. So fast to say it, you know. You see, so fast. Even people within their own school, their own method, quick. You don't want that mentality. That's not deen. That's not the deen. You know, and then they use the excuse, well, you're only saying that because you're in the West. You're in America. Or you're only saying that because you're lazy. Or you're only saying that because, no, I'm saying that because it's the haqq that I found. Because you know what? This same heart and this same mind that believes in what I'm saying now is the same heart and same mind that believed in the complication that you set forth. And guess what? I did those. So was I a person on my own desire then? And listen, the Quran has rules in it. So how are you a person on your own desire? If Allah says salat, do salat. If Allah says zakat, do zakat. If Allah says fast Ramadan. If Allah said don't fornicate, the Quran tells you don't fornicate. So how am I on my own desire if a person decides to only take legislation from the Quran itself only? How? Because I'm not stuck in your sect. Which reminds me back to what I was saying about Imam Shafi. So Imam Shafi was the first to argue, or major the one to argue, and you'll see he's the founder of what they call, or they say he's more the founder, although he learned from other people, right? But the way he has it put together, he's the founder of fiqh. He is the founder of the principles of fiqh, I should say. Okay? And he named this book Al-Khattab, and he named this book Ar-Rasila. Those names are for the Quran. Those names are not for your book. And then he argued for that hikmah is sunnah. He's got debates on there where he argued different groups that the hikmah mentioned in the Quran was sunnah. And the sunnah is the hadith books. And then before him, he actually argued with the Maliki school, although he honored, the Imam Malik and, the school, but he still said they had flaws. And he said, basically, make a long story short, that the way that they understood sunnah was not a true way, a consensus type sunnah. So they even argue what sunnah was. See, it's a fact. I studied the books. You can't tell me. So this is not some ignorant Quran aloner guy who got up here and just, that's what they call them, ignorant Quran aloner guys, who just got up here and because he just so, doesn't understand what this is or that is, he just saying that. No. I studied the books. A lot of the terminologies and definitions that are not in the Quran. They're not in the Quran. Why can't I say what Allah says? Why can't I do that? Why can't I? Why can't I say quda'a instead of jalsa? Why do I gotta have rakats in the salah when Allah didn't mention it? And if you say the messenger bring the message, then he should be saying what the message says. Especially if you say the hadith interprets the Quran. It should be a match. Do any of you get up and put on one shoe and go outside without the other shoe? Do any of you get up and not match your shoes? You get up, you put on a black one black shoe and go put on a white shoe as a practice? It's about matching. So not hard, almost all these hadiths that are narrated by people don't even have an ayat by it. But they want you to believe in interprets the ayat. And then you got to go to the sheikh who goes through the hadith and all this and that. That gives you the interpretation, and then you are in trust with the sheikh. And that is your legislator. So I know somebody got mad, but hey, be mad. I don't want you mad. I want you to listen. I want you to open it up. Open it up. Throw yourself in it like you throw yourself in the hadith book. Even if you don't understand what the Quran is saying, throw yourself in it. Ask Allah al-Hadi to guide you. He's your teacher. He's your alim. Al-Alim is his attribute. Al-Hadi is his attribute. What you think he got the attributes for? I'm just a person pointing you to the book. That's all. And clarifying, just going over definitions. So that's where I'm at with it. Like one brother posted yesterday, we was talking, and he says, brother, obey Allah, obey the messenger, and those with authority among you. And so we don't see, this is the problem. Ulul al-Amr. They argued over that in Islamic history. Who's Ulul al-Amr? Who is those with authority? This is what I'm saying. Like, in the days of the Prophet, that's the only one that had the authority to appoint Ulul Amr. He's the one in his lifetime appointed Ulul Amr. And those Ulul Amr had to go back to him if they disputed. But today we got people saying they're Ulul Amr. Know why he came down from the sky to appoint you to nothing. You're supposed to conduct yourself based upon shorter consultation with each other, yeah, right? But it's nothing to the level that you're making it into. And that's my whole point. It's nothing what you're making it into, you know. So, pretty soon I'm going to go. I want to say to you this. When you do your salat, think if you want to or not. I mean, it's up to you, of course. But try to think like this, the other way. Try to think like, okay, if it's not mentioned in the Quran, then why are you adding to this book? When you ask a person, what is your salat? Like one brother's like, brother, if you just go by the book of the Quran by itself, it don't have the details of salat. Do you understand the seriousness of what you're saying? Allah's al-Alim, and you think he left some out. And you think somebody else gave you the details how salat's supposed to go. Listen, the Lord of the worlds who knows all things, who told you to pray to him, who emphasized it a lot, forgot to tell you how to pray to him, how he wanted you to, and then he left that up to the followable books that he knew would come in the future. And that will become your sunnah of his prophet, of his messenger. Followable books. So that you have to rely upon followable men who are not under Wahi. I hope you're getting my point. Then what was the purpose of sending the messenger with Wahi? With a book from Wahi? Will you not reflect? Will you not reflect, please? Before it's too late? Before you die and you go to your grave? And Allah asks you about his book? And you spent your time and all these followable books of people who had never received Wahi from Allah, who just said the prophet said this and that. That's sort of like, and I don't want to call him Shaitan, but that's sort of like Iblis when he said to Adam, I am your sincere well-wisher. I'm your friend. And he swore with the name of Allah. But all Adam had to do was listen to the amr of Allah, the command of Allah, the law that directly came from Allah to him. Do not go near that tree. But Adam listened to other than that. He listened to someone else who was not under Wahi, who said, oh no, your Lord, he gave him a tafsir. Oh, your Lord, didn't really mean don't go near that tree. He really meant this. He meant, unless you become like an angel or you become a mortal or, And then he went not just near that tree, he went further than what his Lord told him not to do. So, I just want to give you that. And don't be disturbed. And look, it happened to me for, the first time, like, I'm reading this Quran, what do I, it's by itself, man, I can't turn to your Lord. Listen, he tells you simply inside the Quran, recite the book, stand in prayer, bow, prostrate, and then adore your Lord. How do you adore your Lord? You have it right in the book. He tells you to glorify Allah. He tells you to pray, praise be to Allah. He even gives you du'as inside the Quran to do that with. Seek them out. This is a seeking deen. Seek them out. Seek your Lord out. Go after your Lord like Nabi Ibrahim went out for him. He always searched. He was on the search. And then Allah did what? Through his search, he revealed to him. And Allah will open up the Quran to you. He will show you things and give you understanding. You will be confident with your Lord. And if you are going to, for right now, if you're still going to go into the history books, hadith books, I want you to start looking up Quran. Do that. Look up Quran and them hadith books. Just study on the Quran. and just look at what Allah has promised you. But really, she didn't even mess with that. You should be in the Quran and asking directly the Lord. But if that's too hard right now, calling on Allah, and you want to read some history in the hadiths, then just look on the subject of Quran and those hadiths. You know, because that's your imam. That's your imam. That's your imam. It's a perfect imam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you understanding of that imam if you just, turn to him all the way, 100%. La sharika la, no associate, no partner, nothing else with it. Just straight, fly straight to your Lord on the Siratul Mustaqim, straight path. Follow them rules. Go read Surah 6, 150, 153, because that's Siratul Mustaqim. Straight up. And he calls it that. You have to believe your Lord like you believe these hadith books. Like you used to believe them, believe in your Lord like that. Be confident in the Quran like you was confident in Bukhari. Why when you hit the Quran you become in doubt? Oh, he says this, Allah says this, but I got to go over here to Subhanallah. You got to go to who? Allah is talking to you and you got to go to who? It's different if you're reading something and you're just not getting it. That's different. See, that's, you reading, you doing duas, and you ask Allah to make it apparent to you, and then you go, hey, brother, what you think about this ayat? See, and they tell you, you go review it again. Okay, that sort of makes sense. But I'm going to still do it to Allah, who is my Lord, who's Al-Alim, the all-knowing, and ask him to give me understanding further. I ain't going to reject what you're saying, because he may give you the understanding, but I'm going to ask Allah directly what of the knowledge of this that he wants me to have so that I can share. And that's how the deen's supposed to go. It's easy, simple, humble, pious, non-sectarian, and it ain't about no sheikhs, and it ain't about no scholars, like in the sense that they got it right now. The real scholars are those who fear Allah because they know Allah. Through contemplation of the ayats in the heavens and the earth, and reflecting on his book and studying it and putting their heart and their soul into it and being patient with their Lord so their Lord will reveal things to him. Just trust Allah. La ilaha illallah. La sharika la. Have no partner with Allah. Praise and glory belongs to Allah, the eternal absolute, who has no partner in his dominion. Has no partner in his dominion. In legislation, in worship. From Allah we come from. To Allah we return. And this I am commanded. Say, my prayer, my life, my death, and my sacrifices are for Allah alone, the Lord and cherisher of the worlds, and this I am commanded. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of our families, the believers. May liberate the people of oppression, of the oppressed. And may Allah open up our hearts, who is Al-Hadi, the guide. Whomsoever he guides, none can misguide. And whomsoever he leads astray, none can guide him. So now, tell your sheikhs and tell them scholars that when they warn against this person and that person, he can't misguide me anyway unless Allah wants him to misguide me. And he can't guide me unless Allah wants him to guide me. I mean, people can form deceptions, and if you listen to those deceptions, you can go astray. And that's why you're supposed to be only towards your Lord. May Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Indeed.